Greetings, everyone. Kevin Rader from Rader Media Sports, and we're here with, I guess you would call it a new program we're going to do from time to time called On the Radar. And Peyton Smith is going to be our first guest, and we decided to give her a lifeline. Both of her parents are here, Jay and Amanda, and we're tickled that they are. First of all, though, Peyton, tell me, and you already know because I did tell you this question so you could ponder it a little bit.
Yes.
We see all this in front of you, but you tell me, why do you run?
Honestly, I love every aspect of running. Everything there is, the journey, all of it. I love it. One thing about me, I'm really big in my faith, really big Christian. So I had this keychain that I made a couple weeks ago. It said AO1, and that's something that I kind of just, live by, I guess, through my running. It means audience of one. So for me, I always say I'm not doing this for myself or for personal gain or anything. All the accolades, it's all for God. He gave me this gift, so it's my job to use that.
At peace, are you focused when you run?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
I think obviously one of the biggest things about running when I first took it up is it was just so relaxing. It was a time where I could just be focused on one thing and clear anything else out of my head and just be focused on the goal that I had in front of me.
Jay and Amanda, how did this start? When did this start where you all of a sudden noticed, you know what, she's really into this?
Honestly, she was a manager in junior high and just started out, kind of being around it and then decided to start running. And, before she knew it, she loved it. And at that point then she said, this is what I'm going to do. And, became pretty darn good at it.
Amanda, when did you look at each other and say, you know what, she's pretty good?
Actually, there was a very specific time when that happened.
Do me a favor and lift that up just a little bit. There we go.
Better.
Thank you.
She was begging to be on the cross-country team when she wasn't even old enough yet. And she's always just had that drive inside of her. And I remember the very first race. I knew, sorry. The very first race that she went to, the high school coaches were there, and they said, she's good. You don't understand. She's good. And it was the first time. Was that at Forest Park? Where was that?
Probably Riverton Park.
Riverton Park, yeah. And she came out of the woods, and she was leading not only her own race, but they were racing the boys and the girls together. And as a sixth grader, she was leading the whole field. And we thought, oh, boy, well, I guess she really is good at this.
Now, I always think running is something that you can do your whole life. Mm-hmm. We hope.
Yes.
Right? It's one of those things you can – I hate to say it, but I was watching the Jets play last night, and, their quarterback thought he was going to play a long time too. What happens if it's ever taken away from you? What happens if you ever can't run?
Back to the faith thing, I think, that's just my thought process for everything. So while obviously this is something that I hope I'm able to do for just until I can't anymore, I know that whatever God has in store for me is what will happen. So I just find a lot of peace in that even though I want it to be a thing that happens forever, if God has other plans, then that's what happens, and I'll eventually be at peace with that.
Is it hard when you think you're in competition and the goal is to leave people behind, mm-hmm. but your faith tells you that once in a while I need to reach back and help someone else come along?
Yes.
How do you do that?
Yes. Actually,
that's a great question.
I have a very recent story about that. There was this race that I had at Columbus a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And it was a pretty big race. I knew there was some really awesome competition there. And so it was a fast course. I was really excited. And I was doing pretty decent. And then towards the end, we probably had 200 meters left. There was a girl who had been in third place the entire race. And I saw her up there in the distance, and then in that last 200-meter stretch, she fell to the ground and was on her hands and knees. And I was coming up behind her, and so I stopped, and I picked her up, and I was like, come on, we are so close. Let's go. It's almost there. So I think one thing about cross-country and, just the running community in general is everyone is so nice. It is just such an awesome community to be in, no matter if you are the top finisher or you're the girl who's coming in last. Regardless, it's such a supportive community.
Mom and Dad, when I thought, maybe she's a one-trick pony, all she can do is run, then I see a video, and I see Peyton in that video, and she was a natural in that video, Jay. Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, she's really going to have to start learning how to say no, because she is extremely active in our church. She sings in that. She sings on, uptown with her brother and some friends, and every time someone asks her to do something, she's, yes, I'm there. I'll do it. No problem. So we're obviously very proud of her that she does so much outside of just school and just running, that she's involved in so many things, and definitely keeps her busy. That's for sure.
I'm not letting you skirt this question.
That's true. That was a really big honor to be asked. She got asked by our superintendent to lead a tour through the school, which was entered into a competition for our school. And so what a huge honor that was. And that was a proud moment that our superintendent picked Peyton to do that and trusted her with that responsibility. And there was a lot riding on that as well. So we were awfully proud and very thankful and grateful to our school for recognizing Peyton and, giving her that opportunity.
For those of you listening and unaware, she narrated, more than narrated, you hosted a video that went to the Indiana Department of Education. Did you write all that too, Peyton?
I did not. That was Dr. Goad, but it was a really neat experience, and of course I was so honored. I didn't really know what it was going to be about until the day of, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the process.
Okay, tough question for Mom and Dad. Put you on the spot here. Do you have other children?
Yes.
We do.
Now tell me what it's like when one is running away from the pack and you want to be balanced and loving to everybody at home. Every parent wrestles with this question. Well, not every parent has a child that runs like Peyton, but you know what I mean.
We actually talk about this quite frequently. Our oldest son is 21. He's out of school, and unfortunately had to experience a state basketball run that got ended short with COVID. So his sports career is over, but he's a musician, and so we follow him a lot with all of his musical talents. And then Cooper is a sophomore that plays football, and
and plays well. I've seen him.
Yes, coming up playing well, and so we talk about this quite frequently. That we don't feel that we should take anything away from the accomplishments that Peyton is having, or try to overshadow what he's doing by saying, oh, we're afraid to compliment her too much, because we're afraid what it's going to make him feel like. Because frankly, I mean, when he's up in the mornings after a hard football game and she's running early, I mean, that's the first thing he does is text us how Peyton do. So I mean, they love each other. So, we're mindful of that, but, again, we're not going to, overshadow what she's accomplishing.
Amanda, the name Peyton, where did that come from?
That's funny. A lot of people think because our kids actually do all have football names, that was unintentional.
That's what I was sitting here thinking. I said it had to be.
It was unintentional. I always just liked the name Peyton, but we did end up with a Brady, a Peyton, and the younger Manning brother as well, Cooper.
Is Cooper. That's exactly right.
Yeah, that was unintentional.
I'm not believing that. Well, you guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much for sitting down with us and kind of talking about some things that I know maybe are not uncomfortable, but drilling down a little bit. Absolutely. Because I think other parents will listen to this and want to hear his examples. Peyton, one last question. You get out of high school, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm hopeful to run somewhere in college. The decision isn't quite nailed down yet. I would hope that in the next few months I'll have that nailed down, but I want to study sports dietetics and eventually become a sports dietitian. So I'm hopeful that after college and all that, I will be maybe owning my own business somewhere around here. So that's the goal.
Okay. Well, when you decide where to go, you know where to break that news. No, I'm teasing you. You do whatever's best for you guys. Thank you. It's nice to meet all of you.
Yes,
Peyton, continued success.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We're on the radar. I'm Kevin Rader and with Heather Rader, and thank you for joining us.